Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Motivational Monday. I hope everyone is feeling rested, revitalized, and ready to take on another week. My name is Brother Jonathan Dwyer, and today I will be encouraging you from two key scriptures. One of them will be the main story, and the other scripture would be for context to link to the actions in the story. The key scripture comes from Daniel 3, and I'll be focusing on verses 18. And I will be looking also at Matthew 5, verses 16. Here beginneth. But if not, let it be known to you, O King, that we do not serve your gods, nor will we worship the golden image which you have set up. And Matthew 5, verses 16 reads, Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. So I want to focus on the fact that these three men, these three Hebrew boys, were taken from their homeland and placed into a completely different environment, a culture that didn't reflect their beliefs, their values, or their God. They were in captivity, but captivity did not get into them. Despite the change in environment, they kept their eyes on God, and that is important because God has called us to be the change we want to see in the world. Often when we read this scripture, we celebrate the fact that they didn't bow. And yes, that's powerful, but it goes deeper than that. Because in our everyday lives, we may find ourselves in spaces, in workplaces, in friendships, in relationships, where people do not see eye to eye with us, where the standard around us does not reflect God. And in those moments, the pressure isn't always to physically bow, it is to conform. They want us to blend in, to stay silent, and to adjust our standards to match their surroundings. But these three men showed us something different. They didn't allow their environment to change them, and instead, they stood firm in who they were. And by not bowing, they weren't just resisting, they were making a statement. They were showing that you can exist in a system and still not be shaped by it, that you can be in a culture and still carry a different standard, that you can be surrounded by pressure and still stand on principle. And that's where being the change comes in. See, a lot of us are waiting for environments to shift, for people to begin to act right, and for the culture to align, for things to get easier. But this scripture flips that. It shows that change doesn't start around you, it starts within you. Like it says in Matthew 5, verses 16, Let your light so shine before men, so that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. They didn't wait for Babylon to become holy. They decided to be different in the middle of it. And oftentimes, it's easy for us to stand on the outside and talk about what should change, to idealize it, to speak on it, but not actually act on it. But these three men weren't outside observers. They were in positions of power inside the system. And God placed them there intentionally, not to conform, not to get comfortable, but to be an influence for good, just like our YPG pledge suggests. To use their position to challenge the norm and to shift the culture. And we see the result of that influence. Because their stand didn't just affect them, it reached the king, to the point where he declared further in the scripture, Therefore I make a decree that no one speak against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, because there is no other God that can deliver like this. So their private conviction produced a public change. Their decision not to bow shifted an entire nation's perspective. And that's what it means to be the change. It's not always loud and it's not always popular, but it's consistent. Because real change doesn't start when everyone else agrees. It starts when you decide, even if no one stands, I will. But if not, we still won't bow. So today, I encourage you all to stop waiting to see the change, but step into where God has placed you and become it. God bless you.